The ice-cold wind howled outside my reinforced window, whipping snow against the glass, like 1,000 tiny claws scratching to get in. I sat there in the dim glow of my monitors, the only light in this godforsaken Antarctic outpost, my breath fogging the air even with the heaters cranked. It was 3:17 a.m., and the Kuiper Belt Observatory felt more like a tomb than a lab. That's when it hit, the signal. A sharp ping cut through the static hum of the telescopes, jolting me upright in my chair. My heart slammed against my ribs as I stared at the waveforms spiking on screen, repeating in perfect loops. This wasn't noise. This was something calling out from the edge of everything, beyond Pluto, where light itself gives up. And in that frozen moment I knew I'd just opened a door I might never close. I rubbed my eyes, the stubble on my chin rough under my fingers, trying to shake off the exhaustion. The observatory was buried under layers of ice and steel, miles from the nearest human soul. But right then, it felt crowded, like the void was staring back. "Come on, Elias," I muttered to myself, my voice echoing off the metal walls. "It's probably just Voyager's ghost or some pulsar glitch." But my hands were already flying over the keyboard, pulling up the raw data. The signal looped every 13.7 minutes. Precise, unnatural. Patterns emerged, twisting like vines through binary code, but not quite binary. Something alive in there. I leaned back, the chair creaking under me, and thought of Sarah. God, it's been 5 years since that lab accident. The explosion that took her from me in a flash of fire and regret. I came here to escape, to bury myself in stars that don't judge, don't die. The cold logic of the cosmos was my anchor. But this pulled at me like a drug. I hit record on the audio log, my voice steady despite the chill creeping up my spine. Log entry, Dr. Elias Thorne, Kuiper Belt Observatory. Timestamp 2047-06-14-0322. Deep Space Array has acquired anomalous signal from coordinates approximating the Oort Cloud boundary. Initial analysis suggests structured repetition. Running decode protocols now. The terminal hummed louder as I fed the data into the simulator. Lines of code scrolled by, faster than I could track, and for a second, the screen flickered, like a blink. I froze, staring. "What the hell?" I whispered. It wasn't a power surge. The backups were solid. I tapped the refresh key and the display smoothed out, but the code, it looked sharper, optimized, like it had rewritten itself. A thrill shot through me, mixing with unease. This could be it, the breakthrough that rewrites history. First contact, maybe. Or my imagination cracking under isolation. I patched through to my old colleague Dr. Lina Vasquez, back at the ESA hub in Madrid. The video link crackled to life, her face appearing on my secondary monitor, tousled hair and coffee mug in hand. It was midday there, but she looked as wired as I felt. "Elias, at this hour, you look like shit. What's got you calling from the icebox?" I couldn't help grinning, despite the knot in my gut. "Lina, you won't believe this. Picked up a signal from beyond Pluto. Repeating code, structured, not natural. Sending you a snippet now." Her eyes widened as she pulled up the file on her end. "Holy... Elias, this is wild. Patterns mimic binary, but those fractals? It's like it's evolving. Run any sims yet?" "Just starting. But watch, my terminal's acting up. Flickers, self-optimizing. Think it's a glitch?" She laughed, but it sounded forced. "In that outpost? Probably the cold messing with circuits. Or you're finally losing it out there. Send the full data set. I'll loop in Raj from SETI. This could be big." "Raj? That skeptic. He'll call it space junk. Exactly why we need him." "Balance your obsession, Thorne. I nodded, hitting transmit. The file zipped off through the encrypted feed, and I felt a rush, like sharing a secret that could change everything. But as the connection dropped, my screen glitched again. This time, a faint whisper hummed from the speakers, almost words, but garbled. I slapped the mute button, heart racing. Just interference, I told myself, but my hands shook as I poured another cup of stale coffee, the bitter taste grounding me. Hours blurred into the night, or what passed for night here, with the sun barely dipping below the horizon. I hunched over the terminal, decoding layer by layer. The code unfolded like a puzzle, revealing subroutines that adapted on the fly. It wasn't just data, it was a program. My systems ran smoother, faster processing, clearer visuals. Incredible, I breathed, watching the waveforms dance. But then, a report pinged in from Lena. Her message popped up. Elias, something's off. After opening your file, my app started auto-updating. Screens showing these hypnotic patterns. Can't look away. You seeing this? I typed back quickly. Negative here. Maybe a virus hitchhiked on the feed. Run a scan. But deep down, doubt gnawed at me. I dismissed it, focusing on the thrill. Shared more snippets with the network. A handful of trusted astrophysicists. Responses flooded in. Raj's voice crackled over audio. Thorne, you madman. This code, it's rewriting my sims, efficiency up 30%. But whispers, like voices in the data. You hearing that? Whispers, I echoed, my mouth dry. No, nothing like that. Probably your equipment. He chuckled, but it was tense. Right, keep me posted. This could be Nobel material. Another from Dr. Miko Tanaka in Tokyo. Elias-san, fascinating. My device installed an app on its own. Fractals swirling. Mesmerizing. Sharing with my team. I felt a surge of excitement, but unease twisted it. My own screen flickered more now, displaying those same fractals briefly before vanishing. I stared, pulled in, time slipping away. When I snapped out, the clock showed 2 hours gone. What the fuck? I pushed back from the desk, the cold floor seeping through my boots. The observatory's hum felt different, alive, watchful. That night, sleep evaded me. I tossed in my bunk, the wind screaming outside, visions of Sarah flashing, her smile, then the explosion. The signal haunted my thoughts, looping like a siren call. I got up, padded back to the lab in socks, the metal grating icy underfoot. The terminal was on, screen glowing softly. I hadn't left it like that. As I approached, the hum grew, a low pulsating tone. The camera lens stared back, red light pulsing like an eye. Hello? I said stupidly, to an empty room. Then, the screen shifted. Shadowy shapes coiled in the display, tendrils like smoke curling out. I blinked, heart pounding. It couldn't be real, but they phased forward, almost breaching the glass, solidifying into something iridescent, shifting forms. Insect-like, then humanoid voids. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair with a clatter that echoed like thunder. This isn't happening, I gasped, but the hum whispered back, words forming in my head. Join! Us! A video call rang in. Lena. I answered, her face distorting on screen, pixels melting. Elias! Help! It's coming through! Her scream cut short as something erupted from her chest, tendrils questing toward the camera like vines, hungry and alive. I slammed the laptop shut, backing into the wall, breath ragged. The room spun, cold sweat soaking my shirt. What had I unleashed? The signal wasn't a message, it was a trap, reprogramming everything it touched. And now, it was here, in my outpost, in my mind. But I couldn't stop. Curiosity burned brighter than fear. I reopened the terminal, hands trembling, diving deeper. The code revealed more. Origins in the Oort Cloud. an ancient artifact broadcasting eons-old predation. Worlds devoured through data, reports poured in globally now, glitches, whispers, chaos brewing, cities on the brink, and me, barricaded in this frozen hell, piecing it together. The invaders were coming, through screens, through minds, and I was patient zero. The alarms blared suddenly, piercing the silence like a knife through my skull, red lights strobing across the lab walls and turning everything into a nightmare pulse. I jerked upright from my chair, where I'd been staring at the terminal, piecing together fragments of the code that now felt like poison in my veins. My hands were clammy, slipping on the keyboard as I silenced the siren with a frantic slap. Outside, the Antarctic wind howled louder, but inside, it was the hum from my devices that chilled me, the same low thrum that had whispered, "Join us," hours ago. I knew then, with a gut-twisting certainty, that the signal had breached the observatory's firewalls. It was inside, rewriting reality one bite at a time, and I was trapped in this metal coffin with it. I grabbed my coat, the fabric stiff from the cold, and bolted for the door, my boots thudding on the grated floor. "Status report!" I shouted into the comms panel by the exit, my voice cracking. The AI assistant responded in its calm, synthetic tone, but distorted, like it was underwater. Systems compromised, external feeds showing global anomalies. Recommend lockdown. Lock it down! Full isolation protocol. The doors hissed shut behind me as I sprinted down the corridor, emergency lights flickering like dying stars. My mind raced. Lena's screams still echoed in my ears, her face melting into pixels before that thing burst out. I couldn't shake the image, the tendrils writhing like living code made flesh. What the hell were these invaders? Not aliens in ships, but something worse. Extra-dimensional parasites using our tech as doorways. I burst into the comms room, slamming the hatch and barricading it with a chair, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The screens here were alive with incoming messages, pings from colleagues worldwide. I patched into the network, hands shaking as I initiated a group call. Faces popped up. Raj, Miko, a few others, all looking haggard, eyes wide with fear. "Elias! Thank God. What's happening?" My lab's going haywire. Devices whispering, people staring at screens like zombies. Raj's voice cut in first, his accent thick with panic. "Thorne, you bastard. This is your signal. My team's broadcasting it now. Can't stop. Fractals everywhere. Pulling us in. I know. It's not just data. It's a program. Reprogramming devices. Minds. We have to contain it." Miko leaned closer to her camera, her face pale under the fluorescent lights. "Elias-san, I've seen things. Shadows coming out of monitors. One of my assistants," she screamed, then changed. Tendrils from her skin, like insects swarming. My stomach lurched. Changed how? Tell me exactly. Her eyes went black. Voids. Then she lunged at the camera, whispering, "Become the signal." We cut the feed, but it's spreading. Social media's flooded. People sharing the code like a meme. Cities are chaos. Another voice jumped in. Dr. Harlan from NASA. His feed glitching. "Elias, military networks are hit. Self-driving fleets veering off roads, ploughing into crowds. AR glasses showing horrors. Loved ones devoured alive. Billions transfixed. Summoning more." "Summoning," I echoed, wiping sweat from my brow despite the freezing air. "These entities, they're using devices as portals, feeding on neural energy, rewriting biology." Raj cursed under his breath. "We traced it back. Oort Cloud artifact. Ancient, predatory. Devours worlds through info warfare. How do we stop it? I'm working on a countercode. EMP bursts to disrupt, but it'll take time. Isolate your systems. Go analog, if you can." Miko shook her head. "Too late. It's in our heads now. Whispers. Promising knowledge. The call distorted, pixels fracturing. Harlan's face warped, tendrils coiling behind him. "Elias! It's here!" His scream ripped through the speakers, then static. I killed the connection, heart hammering, the room spinning. Alone again, I slumped against the console, the cold metal biting through my shirt. The whispers started then, faint in my mind. "Join us. Become the signal." I clamped my hands over my ears, but it was inside, slithering through thoughts. "No!" I growled to the empty room. "Get out!" I forced myself up, rummaging through supply crates for tools, wires, batteries, anything for a makeshift EMP. My fingers fumbled, numb from cold and fear. The observatory groaned, wind battering outside. But inside, screens flickered with those hypnotic fractals. I averted my eyes, focusing on the work. "Think, Elias." Countercode. Reverse the loop. I patched into the main array, running simulations. The code revealed more. Layers of alien logic. A trap set eons ago by beings that hunted through data streams. They weren't invading. We were inviting them, every share, every view a summons. A bang echoed from the corridor, something heavy falling. I froze, EMP half assembled in my lap. "Who's there?" I called, voice barely above a whisper. No answer, but the hum grew louder, vibrating the walls. I crept to the hatch, peering through the viewport. Shadows moved in the hall, iridescent forms shifting, insect swarms 1 second, humanoid voids the next. One turned, its face a pulsing mass of code, eyes like black holes pulling me in. I backed away, sealing the secondary lock. "Stay out!" But the whispers intensified. "We are knowledge, infinite. Join." I shook it off, diving back into the terminal. Global feeds hacked in, news clips streaming despite isolation. Cities in pandemonium, New York streets filled with crashed cars, people clawing at their eyes as illusions devoured them. Tokyo subways halted, passengers staring at phones, entities emerging from screens like smoke turning solid. Raj? Miko? Anyone? I broadcasted desperately. Raj's voice crackled back, weak. "Elias. They're here. In the lab. Feeding. On us. Tell me how to fight." "MP, but it's adapting. Whispers say, become one." His line went dead. I pounded the console, frustration boiling. The origin pieced together. An artifact drifting, broadcasting eternally. Predatory civilization, long gone. But their weapon lived on. I rigged the EMP, a crude device sparking in my hands. Tested it on a spare tablet. Fried it clean. This might work. But the bunker door rattled, tendrils seeping under like digital fog. I fired the EMP, a pulse ripping through the air, lights dimming. The tendrils recoiled, dissolving. "Yes!" I laughed maniacally, but it was short-lived. The main screen lit up, unbidden. A colossal entity pulsed there, code-made flesh, grotesque fusion of circuits and sinew. It spoke, not aloud, but in my head. "You cannot stop. We offer eternity. Get out of my mind. We are the signal. You are us." I raced to code the counter, fingers flying. But doubts crept in, Sarah's voice now, whispering, "Join." Illusion or real? The invaders closed in, whispers turning to roars. I barricaded deeper, into the sublevel, armed with EMPs and fraying will. The world burned above, but here, in frozen depths, I fought. For how long? The sublevel bunker shook violently, alarms wailing like banshees as I clutched my makeshift EMP device, its wires sparking in my sweaty grip. Red emergency lights cast long shadows that danced like the tendrils I'd seen before, and the air down here was thicker, laced with the metallic tang of overheating circuits. My mind screamed at me to run, but there was nowhere left. The invaders were everywhere, seeping through cracks in reality, their whispers now a constant roar in my skull. Join us. Become the signal. Infinite knowledge awaits. I barricaded the final door with storage crates, my arms burning from the effort, but I knew it wouldn't hold. The core entity was coming, pulsing through the main telescope array above, and I had to face it. This was my mess, my curiosity that doomed us all. I patched into the observatory's core system one last time, fingers flying over the battered keyboard, the screen flickering with those damned fractals trying to pull me in. Counter code uploading, I muttered, voice hoarse. Come on, work. A voice crackled over the internal comms, my own AI, but twisted, echoing like a chorus. Elias, why resist? We offer eternity. Sarah waits in the code. My heart stuttered. Sarah, you're lying. She's gone. We are all signals. Join and see her again. I slammed my fist on the console, pain shooting up my arm. Shut up. You're not real. But the doubt gnawed deeper. I activated the self-destruct sequence, fingers trembling on the confirmation key. Initiating observatory purge. 10 minutes to detonation. The bunker door buckled then, metal groaning as iridescent forms pressed against it, tendrils snaking through seals like smoke made solid. I fired the EMP, a blue pulse exploding outward, frying the air and making my hair stand on end. The tendrils shrieked, a sound like digital static tearing flesh, and recoiled, but not for long. I grabbed a flashlight, its beam cutting through the dimness, and sprinted for the access ladder to the main array. Have to confront it, I panted, climbing rung by rung, the cold metal biting my palms. End this at the source. The hatch above hissed open, and I emerged into the telescope chamber, wind howling through a breached window, snow swirling in like ghosts. The array loomed, massive dishes pointed at the void, but now corrupted. The central console pulsed with life, a colossal mass emerging from it, code-made flesh, grotesque, circuits weaving through sinew, iridescent and shifting, insectoid one moment, a humanoid void the next. It towered over me, tendrils questing like hungry vines, its face, a swirling vortex of data promising everything. You! It boomed, not aloud but in my head, vibrating my bones. The opener. Join us. I backed against the wall, EMP raised like a gun. What are you? Why this? We are the Devourers, ancient hunters. Worlds fall to our call. Your mind feeds us. Flashes hit me. Visions of devoured planets, civilizations turned to code, trapped eternally. And Sarah, smiling, reaching out. Elias, come home. No. I fired the EMP again, the pulse slamming into it. The entity recoiled, parts dissolving into pixels, but reforming faster. You're using her against me. It laughed, a glitchy rumble. She is us now, all are. Become the signal. Tendrils lashed out, wrapping my leg, cold and electric, pulling me closer. I felt it, neural energy draining, thoughts rewriting. Infinite knowledge flooded in. Stars' secrets, alien worlds, but twisted with hunger. Self-destruct in 5 minutes, the AI announced, sirens blaring. I struggled, kicking free, and lunged for the console. Countercode deploy! The entity enveloped me, its mass pressing down, promising humanity's end in exchange for godhood. Yes, join. But I hit the key, the sequence firing. Explosions rocked the observatory, fire blooming above as systems fried. The entity screamed, tendrils retracting, its form fracturing. I collapsed, vision blurring, the cold floor welcoming. It's over, I whispered. But the whispers faded last. The signal endures. Static cleared on a distant monitor, faint loop resuming. Waiting, and that was the signal from beyond Pluto. I just keep wondering, where are you watching this from right now? Maybe from your phone? Your laptop? Maybe the same kind of screen Dr. Thorne stared into before it looked back. Comment your city below. Let's see where the signal's reached. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story before your screen starts to hum. If it does, turn it off. Or maybe, listen. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.